We'll kick things off by going Team GB Olympic gold medalist Dame Kelly Holmes and former lioness Farrah Williams want to get us moving more and want to increase awareness of the threat the physical inactivity plays to the nation's health and well-being, both in the short and long term. Delighted to say Dame Kelly Holmes joins us on talkSPORT. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you it's great to speak to you anyway, but certainly around this time of year and in this year in particular, it's great to chat to you. But before we talk a little bit about the Olympics and plenty more, tell us a little bit more about this campaign.
Yep, so I've been involved with Nuffield Health and the Healthier Nation Index now for a good 2 or 3 years, and this is index number 4, which is actually showing some positive things, that the nation generally are doing more exercise in their week than they were in 2022, but we're still not hitting anywhere near the NHS guided recommendation of 150 minutes. So at the moment, the average is about 83 minutes per week of exercise, or rigorous exercise, or moderate exercise actually, so not even rigorous. We're not doing enough. I mean, we're still not doing enough. And I think it's so important that we get out the messages of why we should be doing more as a nation.
And how do you do that? How are you going to get more people off their backsides and being more active?
I think the biggest thing is the realisation the benefits of doing exercise will prevent long-term illness and also improve our mental health. And we know there's a decline in people's mental health for various reasons, and how society has changed, and the kind of cost of living and the hangover from lockdown, etc. But the thing is, we as individuals need to take accountability of our health, and we only do that if we move more. And movement means anything from brisk walking, running, doing a couch to 5K, or if you have the means, going to the gym or going swimming or on your bike. But the misconception is that it all costs a lot. It actually doesn't. Because if you think about online, there is so much free content that you can get these days, and actually if you go out walking, you can do that in any clothing. If you want to do running, yes, you might have to find a cost of a decent pair of trainers or your kit, but actually that's a long-term investment in yourself.
Yeah, well said. I also think the mental impact it can have is so important as well. Like, people probably think that going for a run is just good for you physically, but it's incredible, isn't it, how good you can feel mentally as well. Like, I did honestly, I've just joined a gym, and like for the first couple of minutes, genuinely, the first time I joined, I couldn't do more than 2 minutes without being out of breath. And then yesterday I did 25 minutes without stopping, and sure, physically you feel good, but you feel mentally like a different person. You feel so fresh, so re-energized.
Well, yeah, I mean, how do you feel thinking that you only did two minutes, now you did 25?
It's like, I'm proud of myself, I'm being honest with you,
Yeah, you kind of pat yourself on the back a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes. But yes, I mean, there's a crisis in young people, and 16 to 24 is young people. And if you think about the fact that they don't realise, it's about 37% or something, doesn't realise the benefits to their mental health. So this is going to just be a nation where we're deteriorating in that belief that actually physical exercise, moving, is going to benefit you long term. I, for one, have gone through a whole life of fitness, high performance, running, motivating myself. And as I've got older, I've realised that moving myself is so important. Getting up off my desk, doing a step count is as important on some days as me going out and going for a run, because I'm accountable for myself. And I've had a lot of mental health struggles, and I absolutely say that I advocate the fact that when I've gone out and I've done more, I feel so much better.
Well said. If we want to find out more information, is there a website for people to go to?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. So Nuffield Health launched the My Daily Movement campaign. So that shares educational content and expert advice. But if you go to nuffieldhealth.com/healthier nation, you'll get more info.
Good stuff. On Wednesday, April the 17th, can you believe it? It's 100 days until the Olympics. I can see you got a little smile on your face there. You excited?
No,
you ready
I'm
for it?
thinking that in 2 more days I'm going to be older.
No, none of that. No, we're all going to be older in 2 days' time. But I know obviously you're not competing anymore. But as you get to this time of year, do you still get that same sense of excitement?
I just love the Olympic movement, always have since I was 14. So I just love what it brings. I'm pleased for Paris to have it again. I think it's going to be one of those games that is changing the landscape of what it means to host the games. I think that there's far more sports now that have become accessible to every type of person and your interest. I think there'll be sports that kind of open our eyes and, you know, from a traditional sports person that thinks that athletics is the premier sport of the Olympics. When you look at all the others that are happening, you have to change your mindset and say that people are still dedicating their life or their days and their motivation and their aspirations to commit into that training to be the best of whatever sport they go to. And that's going to be an inspiration to so many people.
You know a thing or two, of course, about winning medals at the Olympics and the big medals. I'm sure you never get tired of talking about this, but I can't quite believe that Athens 2004 was 20 years ago. Can you just tell us what you remember about the amazing couple of weeks you had over there?
Well, I remember everything. I mean, I get to show my videos probably, 10 times a week when I go around the world motivating people, and it's still very, very interesting but also heartwarming, where people are still cheering when I play the little montage of me crossing the line in the 8 and the 15, and then they come and say I knew where I was or what I was doing, and even if they were a lot younger, they've been inspired by what I did then. You never forget it, and I can honestly still sit here saying I have no idea how I won the 800 metres. I still don't know, but I did. And then the 1500, even though it's 20 years since I won it, it took 20 years of dreaming to get there. So for me, it's been part of my whole life and DNA all this time. So it means as much now as it did back then.
And of course, as we mentioned, this week marks 100 days until Paris 2024. As an athlete, just give us an insight into what these 100 days are like, the couple of months as you build up there. You mentioned you worked your whole life for the big moment on the big stage to fulfill your dreams. As you get closer and closer, if you can sort of just give us an insight into what preparations are like, kind of, on the track, off the track, what sort of things are you looking to do and not do?
Well, you still got, obviously, the start of the season for athletics is only just around the corner now. So a lot of people in athletics terms haven't actually qualified for the Olympic Games. So you got to remember that it becomes quite a close effect of everything's now about the qualification in their heads. You might go around the world, you might do Grand Prix, but you have to go to your national championship and formally qualify. So that's a big focus for so many athletes now. Of course, they're trying to get to the standard that if they get to the games and they're good enough to be in a semi-final, a final, or even a medalist. But the first point of view is qualification. So all the training and all the guidance is, yes, long term, and it has probably been for years and years, but it's the here and now that matters. So every single training session is critical to whether that's to realizing that you're on target, to adjusting or adapting to maybe what's happened before, or you've just got a good schedule that's giving you those stepping stones to where you want to get. And no one will believe they're not getting to the Olympic Games. Everyone will think that they are getting through. So everything is guided towards those moments whenever the timetable is for their sport or their event. But it's, you're at the prime of your fitness, but you're not yet peaked. You've got to be within the best of the world, but you can't show too much. It's psychological as much as it is physical.
And in terms of this summer, 2024, is there anything in particular that stands out for you in terms of what you're looking forward to watching?
Firstly, I'm looking forward to how Paris hosts the games. The opening ceremony is meant to be on the river, and I just feel like they're taking it to another level. In 2024, it's in LA 2028, we have a lot more technology, we have a lot more ways of streaming around the world. So I think that Paris will want to showcase the kind of modern day Olympics to the next level. So I am looking firstly for them, and I'm pleased they got it, because I remember standing on the rostrum, I remember standing in Trafalgar Square when we got the games, and it was Paris's third attempt then, and they didn't. And half of me was like absolutely elated that we won it, and half of me felt a bit sorry for Paris. But Paris are going to be holding their first third Olympic Games in history, and I think they're there to show what can be done. And on top of that, all of our athletes, Team GB have always produced some great results, and over the years since 2012 it's just got better and better. But it's got better because the investment and the profile and the opportunities that are available now for young people in our country to compete in those sports. So I'm looking forward to some new talent coming through, and let's see what happens.
And of course, well said. I think we're looking forward to Paris. I'm sure they're going to do a great job. But there's been a big story in the news, a big story that's kind of dominated quite a lot of time on talkSPORT over the past couple of weeks, that athletics will become the first sport to introduce prize money at the Olympics this summer. Gold medal winners is just short of £40,000. They're going to win at the Paris Games if they do win gold. Where do you stand on this? Some people say it's great. It's sort of the natural, evolvement of the sport. Some people say, isn't it all about winning the medal for Team GB? Where do you stand on this?
Both. I mean, if you asked me a few years ago, I just wouldn't have liked it at all, because I've always been somebody that's, always just wanted, it was never ever about anything but getting that medal around my neck. There was no other, what it comes off of it. It was all about pride and representing my country and standing on the rostrum and national anthem played and, flag flying. But I think the world's moved on, and if you think about the fact that it's only gold medalists that get this at the moment, you've got to be the best in the world. And in athletics, it's still class, believe it or not, as an amateur sport. So if you think about everyone that goes through sport, commits for years and years, dedicates their life to still a dream, it's still going to be a dream to be Olympic champion. What I think by giving the money is just saying, well done. It's almost like a pat on the back for your talent, your commitment, your achievements and everything. So for me, it's like taking the sport to another level.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as the drug testing is in place and absolutely rigorous, so that people aren't doing it and cheating just to get some money and financial gain, as long as that is proven to be successful, I think we have to move our sport on. And actually athletics, I think, given all the other sports that are out there in the Olympics now, needs to change. It needs to up its game, and maybe this is one way of doing it. So
you almost sort of hope that the athletes will have the same mindset as you. It's all about winning for Team GB. Team GB, that's the number one priority. And a little bit of money, it's kind of a Brucey bonus on top, right?
Yeah, it's just a bonus on top, and it's only ever going to be the best in the world. There's one person that becomes a gold medalist in each sport and each event. So you've got to have proven and be at the best. And that's not just one race or one event. That is, years and years and years of dedication. And in that 1 year, lots and lots and lots of competitions, and being the ability to be selected and face all your opposition in the heats and the semi-finals till you get to the final, and still making sure that goes right. If you've got through all of that and you've won, well, it's nice to get a well done, isn't it?
Yeah, you should be emailing them going, come on, any little bonuses for former athletes that have won gold medals? If I was you, if I was your agent, I'd be on the blower straight away going, all this 40 grand's great, but I've won, I've won 80, 2 of those. Come on. Sort me out. What's happening here,
No, do you know what? Me, it was all about passion. I never ever in my whole life thought 1 second past winning, because how can you? If you think past the winning, you're actually not in the game of focusing on what's the here and now. So for me, they still have to be passionate and be committed, because I'm sorry, you trip over, you don't have the money, it's worth nothing, and then you don't have the pride and success either. So I think it still will be the fact that people are so focused on being Olympic champion. I hope it is, I really hope that the pride's still there. Me putting the vest on and competing for Great Britain was one of the best things I've ever done.
Kelly, we've got to wrap up. So my final question would be, as we approach the Olympics, you're on talkSPORT. If any young athletes or anybody who has the ambition, the goal is going to be going to Paris in a couple of months' time, what would your message be to them?
I'd say, firstly, I'd say congratulations. And I'd say you get to an event. Remember, it's just another event. You've trained all the time to compete. That's what training is for. So when you get there, you just go and you look. For me, I used to always look at the British flag flying in any stadium that I went to, feel proud of being there, and go out there and do your best. Don't let anything around you, the hype of the games, ruin the ability to perform at your best, and enjoy the experience, especially if it's your new one, because it's amazing.
Are you going? Are you going to be there? And if so, what are you doing?
I hope if I get asked.
Oh, no one's asked you yet. Maybe talkSPORT, we should ask you. We've got right. Should I get my people to contact your people?
There you go.
Yeah?